Hello, hello. I do believe I am live. Happy Friday, everyone. I am just going in here to see if I'm live in the group. I have started a little bit early, just because I felt like it. I was ready. So I decided to pop on here and go on a little bit earlier than I'm scheduled at 11 a.m. This was kind of scheduled, this session was scheduled at the last minute anyway, and yeah, happy Friday, everyone. I changed the location of where I'm sitting, as you can see. This session was scheduled as an Ask Me Anything session, but nobody put any questions underneath my post, so I decided to ad lib and come up with something else. So you can still ask me questions on this session if you want, if you have something that you'd like to ask me about, but I wanted to talk about something that has been reoccurring for me and that I see is reoccurring for a lot of personal stylists over the course of their career on social media, really. And I've decided to call this session How to Survive and Thrive on Social Media. And I got the idea for this session from basically I was going back over my journal. I journal every morning. And I came across this entry, and I'm going to actually just read the entry out for you. Who's joining me here this morning, first of all? Did somebody manage to find me early and come and say hello? Tell me who's here. Let me know who is here, and I will say hello to you. I always love to know who's here. As I said, I've started a little bit early, so people might be joining a little bit early and they can totally catch up on this session. And I'm going to be talking about how to thrive and survive on social media this morning. And I'm going to start with this entry in my journal. So that also to show that no matter how long you've been on social media, no matter how long you've been doing this, the same struggles are there. Maybe less so as you go on in your business, but definitely your struggle with your worthiness and your self esteem is going to be something that you will need to continually work on. So I'm really hoping that this session will be really helpful to people this morning. Hey, Viva, great to see you, and thanks for saying hi. Okay, so this is the journal entry that prompted me to create this live this morning. So I journal every morning when I get up. And this is what I wrote in my diary. Check social media, not a lot of action there. Feck it, it's not working. People are sick of me. I should be doing something different. What if everybody is tired of hearing from me? And then I try to identify what are the feelings that are associated with those thoughts. So, what I journal down here are feelings of worthlessness and inadequacy. So, this is just a random journal entry that I came across and that prompted me to do this live. Now, if you have ever had this kind of experience, which I very much assume you've had if you're promoting your business on social media. What can you do about these feelings? So I specifically wrote down in my journal, because I had to remind myself, what tools have I in my kit to deal with this feeling really of unworthiness, that I'm not good enough, that I don't have anything to share. Now, the first thing I want to note here is that oftentimes these feelings come up when I'm scrolling through social media and maybe I see another business mentor on there, and they have put out great content, or maybe they've come on there and they look amazing. You know, they have presented themselves really well. They seem very articulate. They seem very polished. they seem to know what they're talking about. And this can really, really bring up feelings of not being good enough, feeling inadequate, feeling like, what's the point in me posting on social media? Nobody is really going to believe me. I have nothing to say of worth. And it just feeds into those feelings of not being good enough, not being worthy. Um, and then another interesting entry that I put in my journal that is quite interesting is we look like ourselves. That's the way God designed it to be. But somehow we think we'll be more acceptable if we looked and act like someone else. So oftentimes, as we scroll down through our feed in social media, we can have the thought that somehow if I look like somebody else, or if I act like somebody else, or if I was more polished like somebody else, then I'd be worthy to be on social media, and then I'd be worthy to put my message out there. So I really, really wanted to share those entries on my journal with you because I want you to understand that even when you look at those other people who seem to have, made it, they seem to have it all sorted out. They seem to know exactly what they're talking about. They seem to be able to share their message without any reservation. Those people have the exact same feelings that you have, but they have learned to deal with them. They have learned rituals and strategies and ways to deal with those feelings, so that they don't stop them taking action. Because the problem is, if you continue to believe those feelings of being unworthy, of being not good enough, of being inadequate, it will stop you in your tracks. And that's what I've seen. I've seen so many personal stylists disappear off of social media. So, disappear off of social media indefinitely, or disappear for long periods of time and then reappear. Um, and I've been on social media now almost 4 years of posting every single day. And I've had to learn strategies to deal with the days that I'm feeling less than. So, the first thing I will say to you is that it's really, really important to control what you're looking at and what you're watching on social media. Become really aware of what are different people making you feel. Now, it could be that people are inspiring you, and that's great. But if there are people that are really not making you feel very good, are making you feel inadequate, then there's a decision point. Do I block these people from my feed? Do I remove them from my feed? Or do I leave them there? The other thing is to control the amount of time you are scrolling. How long are you spending scrolling on social media? Now, that's not a real problem for me, I'll be honest. I'm more of a producer than a consumer. But still, when I go on social media first thing in the morning, I still see a certain amount before I catch myself. So I think it's really, really important to notice how much time you're spending on social media and what are you doing. And when you become aware that actually it's your job to become aware of when you start comparing yourself to other people, and what are the thoughts you're having around that. Maybe you're having thoughts like my journal entry, maybe you feel that you're not polished enough. Maybe you feel like you don't look like you should look like. You look exactly like you should look like. You look like yourself. And we are all made so different and so beautiful in our own way. And that's the way God designed it. And that's why I came up with that little quote that I put here in my journal. So I hope you can see it there. And I just put a little heart around it to remind myself that we are made unique and beautiful, and we have a gift to share, and we have something to bring to the world, and we are perfectly fine the way we are, and we don't need to look like anyone else, we don't need to sound like anyone else, and we definitely don't need to change ourselves to be or sound like somebody else. um, so, what are the tools that I have in my box to deal with these kind of feelings when they come up? So, step one is awareness. I just see a few more people joining now. Say hello if you're joining. You know, I want to know who's on here with me. So, say hello if you're joining. I want to know who is here. Um, so the first tool that I have in my box to deal with these feelings of unworthiness, not feeling good enough, feeling inadequate, feel like I need to look like or sound like somebody else. The first thing is awareness. You cannot do anything until you become aware of the thoughts that you're having. Now, oftentimes these thoughts are happening subconsciously. They're happening and you're not really even aware that they're happening. So you have to become aware. Now, the one tool that I find really amazing for that is journaling. So, literally, pen and paper and writing down what are the thoughts that are going on in my head? What am I feeling? So, sometimes I don't even know what I'm feeling. And sometimes I have to start journaling to understand what I'm feeling. Now, once you establish what you're feeling, the next step is to, especially if the feelings are not helpful, you really need to look at, are the feelings helping you take action? Are the feelings helping you be visible for your business? Are the feelings helping you to move forward? And if they're not, then you need a way to release those feelings. So, first, becoming aware, leave them be there, be aware of them. I'm not saying stuff them down and distract yourself and pretend that the feelings aren't there. You acknowledge them and then you release them in some way. So I use tapping or EFT. I use tapping to release feelings. There are lots of other different ways to do it as well. Prior to becoming aware of EFT or tapping, I used to use a method called the Sedona method, which is another method of allowing the feelings initially and then releasing them. So number one, awareness. Number two, a method to release the feelings, so that you can allow space for more positive feelings to come in. Number three on my list of tools to help me to um, manage the unworthiness, the fear, the inadequacy is forgiveness. Forgiveness is really, really key. And oftentimes, we're holding grudges against people. It might be people that we see on social media, it might be people around us, it might be past clients, it might be peers. So I use forgiveness a lot. Forgiveness is very, very, very powerful. And you can build it in as part of a morning meditation, or just simply say the words, call to mind the person who you need to forgive. Sometimes the person you need to forgive is yourself. So maybe you need to forgive yourself for being a meanie to yourself, for being relentless with yourself, for being really critical of yourself. So I have a really, really simple forgiveness mantra. I forgive you, I'm sorry, thank you, and I love you. There is no particular order that you need to repeat those words in. It's just a simple mantra where you become aware that you're being really critical of yourself, or maybe you're being really critical of somebody else, and there is forgiveness. There is a forgiveness step required. So I have this in one of the meditations that I follow. So I highly recommend that you have some kind of forgiveness procedure in there in your morning routine or in your routine when you find yourself having to deal with feelings that don't allow you to be productive. They don't allow you to take the feelings in your, or take actions in your business that you need to take. Okay, so number four, a really key part of my ritual around dealing with feelings that are not helpful is gratitude. So, gratitude is one of the tools that I use daily, several times a day, and it is thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for my beautiful office. Thank you for the beautiful day outside. Thank you for my past clients. Thank you for my current clients. Thank you for future clients. Thank you for my beautiful boys. There are so many things to be thankful for. Thank you for my cup of coffee. Thank you to all you ladies joining me this morning. Gratitude is so, so important. It is so simple, and it will shift how you feel about everything. Your perspective immediately changes. Thank you for the inspiration that I see on social media. Thank you for all the free content that helps me to see what I need to work on next. So gratitude is really, really important. Build it in. There is no shortcut for gratitude. Build it into your morning routine, or however you do it. Number five, affirmations. Now, I hear a lot about affirmations, and I think affirmations are not very useful unless you have all the work that I talked about previously done first. So, if you have not identified what the problem is, if you have not cleared the feelings around the negative thoughts you have been having, then I find that affirmations aren't really that helpful. So, affirmations for me tend to be the last thing in my routine. Now, then typically I move my body. So, I might go for a walk in nature. So, I haven't that written down here on my list, but number six is definitely move your body, a walk in nature, maybe a yoga class, whatever your thing is. So, those are my very, very simple steps to deal with all the crap that goes with social media, really. All the feelings of, I'm not good enough, therefore, I'm not going to be visible, I'm not going to share my message. I don't look like what a personal stylist should look like. Fat, I'm too thin, my teeth aren't good, my hair isn't right. Whatever your excuse is, first of all, identify what the problem is. Mostly, we don't even know what the problem is. We just kind of have this feeling of unworthiness. And you're really going nowhere if you're just having that awful feeling in your tummy or your chest or your shoulders or wherever you feel the stress in your body. It's not really going to go anywhere unless you kind of face it head on, identify what are the thoughts that are causing that unease in your body, and then use a method to release those feelings, forgiveness, gratitude, affirmations, down on top of that, and I can guarantee you it's going to be a very, very different day for you. Now, it depends on the morning. Typically, my morning routine can take me between 30 minutes and a half an hour, and then usually I go for a walk between 45 minutes and an hour. But it's up to you what you want to do. Now, lots of people, when they're starting out in their business, they think this is a waste of time. But I can guarantee you this is probably the most important time you spend in your business, because if you free your mind, if you free yourself to be who you are, then your content is going to be a lot more powerful. You're going to be a lot more powerful. Your message is going to be a lot more powerful, and you'll actually show up. So lots of people don't show up because of these feelings of unworthiness. Now, unfortunately, I'd love to give you like a magic wand and say you can just do this once and you never have to do it again. Unfortunately, it does not work like that. It does not work like that. It's a kind of a daily thing that you have to do over and over and over again. It is not something that's a one off. At least I don't know anybody who is doing well in business that kind of can just do this once and never have to do it again. So this little ritual that I'm talking about here is something that can be done on a daily basis. So hi Leah, I'm really sorry to hear that you're home with COVID. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what I'm talking about. Do you have a little morning ritual or a daily ritual to help you get your mind in the right place? Can you identify with these feelings that I've been talking about when you're on social media, when you're about to post on social media? And what are your little routines to deal with these um, negative feelings? I would like to know. If you are watching this on replay, hashtag replay, I will come back and I will have a look at the comments. Because the reality is, lots of people think that being successful in business, being successful in life is all about strategy. But the reality is, it's not all about strategy. Yes, strategy is important, but what's more important, and I'm doing this a long time now, is having peace of mind, having contentment, having love in your life. And I find this all comes from within and it comes from the mindset work that I do. It allows me to be me. It allows me to be visible and not run away and hide. And if I didn't do all that work, I'd probably be hiding. I'd probably be trying to be like someone else. I'd probably be focusing all my time on my branding and my website and looking as good as I possibly could. And when you're doing all those things, you are probably not sharing the best of you. So I would love to hear your thoughts. I'm not seeing a lot of comments this morning, but that's okay. Even when I put the post yesterday into the group about Ask Me Anything, nobody commented, nobody asked a question. So I could decide then at that point that, nobody wants to hear from me. People are not that interested in what I have to say. But I didn't decide that at all. And that allowed me to be visible today. It allowed me come on. It allowed me to be myself and to share from the heart, and to share so that I can help somebody else. So Leah said, this past year, I'm tired and end up consuming instead of creating and producing content. So that's a sure sign, Leah, that, and it's a sure sign that, you need to really look at, what is going on in your mind around appearing on social media. What are the fears? What are you concerned will happen? Now, I find when you end up consuming rather than creating, it creates lots of problems because the comparisonitis goes off the scale. Goes off the scale. I consume very little social media, Leah, and I have found even the small amount that I do consume, I just have to see a video of a beautiful business mentor, talking really articulately. And that can be enough to kind of trigger feelings of inadequacy and not being good enough. So if you don't have something to tackle that, you're going to kind of run away and hide. And the reality is, what are you using instead of social media to get clients then? Social media, if you ask me, is one of the best ways to widen your audience and get clients, and it's pretty much free of charge. It's free of charge money wise, but it's not free of charge mind wise. It requires strength of mind, it requires strength of purpose, and it requires some kind of daily practice to allow you to continually turn up. That is my belief. It's not going to happen by itself. And that's why so many people disappear off social media, because they just find that they just can't deal with it. They get tired, they get exhausted, they get disillusioned, they feel they're losing themselves. And that's why it's so important to come back to who you truly are on a daily basis. And some days it might be on an hourly basis. Some days you may need to just take a break and walk in nature. But if you are to be consistent in on social media, which I attribute to which which I believe has allowed me be successful, which has allowed me to get the number of clients that I needed to get the financial return that I wanted, then you need some kind of strategy to continually turn up on social media. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Leah, for being honest and sharing that. Loads of people, everyone's feeling it, Leah. Not everyone's sharing it, but everyone's feeling it, because I'm in many different masterminds, and even high level business women who've been at this for many years, they still struggle. They still struggle. Leah said, I get sad about my lack of consistency, getting my head around that and getting ready for another project. Exactly. So it is relentless, Leah. It's not something that goes away. So you need some kind of strategy to be able to turn up time and time and time again without exhausting yourself and without feeling like you're losing yourself. So that's what this morning's talk was all about, Leah. So I don't know if you've been here from the start, but I think, the strategies that I've talked about this morning, journaling, tapping, or some other alternative, forgiveness, gratitude, affirmations. And when I find when I go through my morning ritual like that, afterwards, I have a lot of creativity. I find that once I clear the feelings of being inadequate, once I clear the feelings of negativity, my creativity naturally rises to the surface. And really, in my Six Figure Stylist program, which is the program that I help personal stylists to create and sell, market and sell a signature program, a lot of the work that we do in there is mindset work and creating these rituals and habits in their business, so that they have long-term success, so they can get through a launch, so they come out the other end happy and contented and still in love with their businesses. Because I think we get completely disillusioned with our businesses as well over time, when we're not replenishing ourselves and taking care of our mind and our soul, as well as just our body, which is the more obvious thing to take care of as personal stylists. So we spend a lot of time in our appearance and looking great, but maybe not enough time on our soul and our mind. So I really, really hope there was something in there for you all this morning. If you're watching this on replay, #replay, I did start a little bit early. So if you're joining me a little bit late, you can go back to the start and watch it again. I really believe that it is worth doing that. Now, I wanted to draw your attention this morning to a new upcoming masterclass that I'm creating. It's called 4 Mistakes Personal Stylists Make When Creating Their Signature Program and How to Fix Them. So it's a brand new masterclass. I'm currently creating it and I'm very excited about it. You will have 2 options to watch it. So I'm actually going to pop a link in here right now, and you can go in and you can register for your preferred date if you want to watch it. And you will need to register to watch it. It's going to be live. And really, I'm creating this webinar because I've been helping personal stylists create signature programs for a couple of years now. And I've learned a lot over that time. And so have the stylists I've worked with. I've learned a lot from them. I've learned a lot from being in business 2 years longer. And I'm going to be sharing the 4 biggest mistakes I see personal stylists make when they're creating their signature program, and how to fix those mistakes. So a little bit different to what I was talking to earlier. But what I was talking about earlier is definitely one of the mistakes that I see, and that is not taking care of your mind and your soul while you're in business, while you're creating your signature program, while you're marketing it and selling it. So I'm really, really hopeful that there's something in there for whoever is watching this. Get yourself registered for the masterclass. I'm running 2 live sessions. Madhu is saying she's registered already. Wow, that was fast. Get yourself in there, get yourself registered. There is 2 sessions right now, one 9 a.m. or no, maybe 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. CET, I'm not sure. The 2 timings are in there anyway. Go in there and get yourself registered. It will be new material that I haven't shared before, so I'm excited about that. And that's all for today. I'm finished a little bit early. Does anyone have any questions about anything I shared this morning before I go? Um, I feel that, what I've shared with you this morning makes the biggest difference in my business. I'll be perfectly honest, I do teach strategy. I do teach a lot of different skills to personal stylists. But in terms of my own happiness and contentment and joy in my business, I feel that my daily practice around identifying the problems or identifying the negative feelings around, forgiveness and gratitude and affirmations make a huge difference to the quality of my life, and they allow me to turn up in my business every single day. Um, so as I see no more questions right now, Madhu saying she joined late. Yeah, I started early. I'm so sorry about that, but I was inspired, so I got started. Somebody is sad. Romy, why are you sad, my dear? Let me know why you are sad. It could be it could be like other times when you're not actually sad, you just hit the wrong button. So just let me know, Rummy, why you are sad. I want to know why you are sad. You should not be sad. You should be happy. Because Rummy is one of the beautiful ladies who completed my um, not my figures, my 6-figure stylist, what it was called before that, which is my Savvy Stylist Business Academy. One of my favorite clients of all time. So I don't want to see you sad, Romy. I really don't. So let me know what's going on for you. Is it just a slip of a button? Okay. So that is all for this morning, guys. Get in there, get registered for my masterclass if you want more of me. I'm going to leave it there for today. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend ahead, and I will catch you all again soon. Take care. Bye.